Hi, this is Kina Kim with PivotalDiscovery.com, and we're here at ILTA 2009 with Tom O'Connor. And Tom's going to share with us some marketing tips for solo practitioners and small law firms. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
Thanks, Kina. Pleasure to be here. It's been very interesting for me here because of the fact that ILTA tends to be all large firms. And I, living in New Orleans, work an awful lot with attorneys all along the Gulf Coast, which is predominantly small firms and solos. So the attempts at marketing and the ways they market themselves are much different down there. We were just talking a moment ago about blogging, which is very, very popular. Twittering is, I think, just starting to get some legs, at least down along the Gulf Coast, and with other small attorneys I know. Attorneys don't tend to like something that limits the amount of words they can type. But some of the other social media as well, Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn. I think for all of these things, there's a couple of tips for the attorneys to keep in mind. One is to stick at it, that you have to, once you start doing something like this, keep the content fresh and be updating things on a regular basis. The other is to be specific to your practice. A real fault I've seen, especially with some of the MySpace, some of the social medias, is people tend to talk about lots of different things. The great movie they saw last night, the fabulous cup of coffee they picked up that morning. Stick with your message for marketing so that people, when they go to the sites and think about immigration law or bankruptcy or family law, they think about you. Oh, I should check Tom O'Connor's blog about lawsuits against FEMA because I know that he does it. A great example is Ernie Svensson, an attorney down in New Orleans, better known in the blogging and Twittering world as Ernie the Attorney. Ernie has carved out a real niche for himself as an expert on Adobe PDF for attorneys. So he has a blog to that effect. He does Twittering distinctly along those lines. And he keeps at it. You can find information from Ernie literally every day. And if he goes on vacation or is going to be tied up in a trial, he'll say something to that. Hey, you may not hear from me for a couple of days because I'm busy doing X. The idea is, it's really branding. You need to keep yourself out in front of the people.
Keeping them informed.
Exactly, and doing that link of your name with your specialty or specialties or area of practice. I think the other thing is to keep at it. Very often people get discouraged because they don't get immediate results. They expect because they put something out on the internet, 2,000 people are going to call them the next day.
Right.
It's just like any other advertising. You have to do it, stick at it, and wait for the results to come in. And I think the last real quick tip that I always give people is do this in conjunction with activities with your state and especially your local bar association. A tremendous amount of references come not directly from clients but other attorneys. Oh, I have a client who has a bankruptcy problem. I don't do that, but oh, Tom the other day mentioned he's got a blog on bankruptcy law. Several of the attorneys I know who are very proficient with this do that marketing not just to potential clients but to other attorneys, to let them know that they're specializing in that area, and those attorneys are a great source of business. So I think pick your specialty, keep the content fresh, and stay at it.
Those are some great tips, Tom. Now, on having a particular message on the social networks, what about having two profiles, one personal and one professional? Is that something you would recommend?
Yes, excellent tip, and I absolutely do that. I have several friends who have their own social page and a second profile for their business. Ernie, again, is a great example. He has 3 or 4 different pages and profiles and blogs. So that if you're looking for some information about Adobe, you go to one space. Again, as long as you get that message out, that this is me, that PDF lawyer is Ernie Svensson doing something about specifically about using Adobe for attorneys, then you've made that connection with people. The other thing that's an interesting point along those same lines is that once you have that niche established, you tend to get other questions. People will assume, well, if you know everything about Adobe, you must know everything about summation or case logistics. Even though they really relatively have nothing to do with each other, you will start to get affiliated or associated technology questions. So you can start to build a little bit of an expertise along those lines as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing those tips, Tom.
My pleasure. Thank you.